was 5 years old, sitting on an exam table in a hospital, that thin paper crinkling underneath me, waiting for heart surgery. I was completely calm. There was no story attached to a specific moment. And now that I'm older, I understand why. At just 5 years old, my brain hadn't learned how to scare my body yet. As I said, there was no story attached to a specific moment. Just a heartbeat, steady, constant, already doing its job. But here's what I spent years trying to figure out. Where did that calm go? And most importantly, how can we get it back? I was born with a condition called bicuspid aortic stenosis. In plain English, my heart had to fight harder than everyone else's just to do the same job. So hospitals weren't scary to me. The antiseptic smell, the beeping machines, the quiet tension that filled the room when something serious was happening. That was my normal. Then came HOSA, 9th grade. I prepared and I competed, and I remember sitting in that room. My heart was pounding so hard, I could feel it through my throat. All the anticipation, all the months of work sitting right on the edge. And then they called the names. Mine wasn't one of them, and my heart dropped. It just sank, like something left my body that I wasn't ready to let go of yet. I went home that night, and my dad looked at me and said, "Did you try your best?" And I said, "Yes." But deep down, I knew that wasn't the truth. I knew it wasn't my best. And he looked at me and said, "Then try harder." 2 words, that's it. Just try harder. So I came back, 10th grade, prepared harder, competed again. And I sat in the same room waiting for awards to be called. My heart was pounding again. The same feeling of everything sitting right on the edge. Again, they called the names. Mine wasn't one of them. My heart dropped again, the same feeling. But this time, I also felt the general weight of everyone who was placing, everyone who was advancing, and the quiet feeling that maybe they were just built for things that I wasn't. No one was out there helping me. And here's the thing about losing. No one remembers the people who lose. Think about that for a second. I felt that. Every single bit of it. But somewhere in that feeling, something shifted. I said to myself, I gotta go further. Not just to prove it to the world, but to prove it to the voice in my head. The voice of the boy who lost in 9th and 10th grade. That voice was who I really was competing against. But before I tell you what happened in 11th grade, I need to tell you what I learned. Because here's what nobody tells you about the pounding in your chest. There's a field called neurocardiology, the study of how the brain and the mind work to each other. We've been taught our whole lives that the brain is the boss, that it gives the orders and the body just follows. But that's not the truth. The signals that your heart sends to your brain move in both directions, and a significant portion travels upwards, from the heart to the brain. When those signals become fast and chaotic, your brain does exactly what it's built to do. It creates a story about what's wrong. And in 9th and 10th grade, I felt my heart pounding, and I handed it straight to my brain. My brain said, "You're a loser. They're better than you. No one even remembers your name." And I believed it. But here's what I finally understood that changed everything. That story was not the truth. It was just my brain trying to make sense of a signal it hadn't asked for. And signals, they can be changed. So how do you change it? Here's where I need you to stay with me, because every single one of you has heard the answer. Every therapist recommends it. Every teacher, every coach, and every parent before every hard moment says the same thing. Just breathe. And I know what you do when you hear that. You nod and you dismiss it because it sounds too simple, too obvious, like telling someone who's drowning to just swim. But listen to me. We have gotten this completely wrong. When you take a slow inhale and a long exhale, you are directly changing the electrical signals your heart sends to your brain. When those signals become smooth, your brain receives one signal saying you're safe. This phenomenon is called heart rate variability. When variability becomes smooth, that signal comes to your brain saying you're safe. We have had this answer our entire lives. We just convinced ourselves it was too small to be real. That's brains to heart. Not something that no one knows about, but the thing sitting right in front of you. So, there I was, 11th grade. Same room, same feeling. My heart was racing again. The same pounding as 9th and 10th grade. The same weight of everything sitting right on the edge. But this time, I didn't hand it to my brain. I caught it before the story could even start. One slow inhale, long exhale. I didn't fight it, nor did I explain it. I just let it pound. And then they called the names. 5th, 4th, 3rd. Each name built thunder in my chest. 2nd, not me. And then silence, like my heart already knew the answer. Finally, 1st place was called. My name was called. And my heart dropped. But this time, the same heart that had sunk into defeat twice was now sinking into something else entirely. In that moment, surrounded by my peers, I understood everything. The feeling was never the issue. It was the story I attached to it. I keep coming back to that 5-year-old. Curious, not afraid of a single thing. Not because nothing was happening, but because nothing extra was being added. Just a heartbeat doing its job. You still have that rhythm. It has been with you through every single thing you walked into. It was there, pounding, not to stop you, but to prepare you. So the next time you feel it rise, before your brain gets there first, try the thing you've been told 1,000 times and never fully believed. One slow inhale, long exhale. Your heart is not telling you something is wrong. It is telling you you're alive. It is telling you you have evolved. And that is exactly where you need to be.